Hi everyone, thanks for being here. About 30 years ago, I discovered that I had a condition known as Raynaud syndrome. And Raynaud syndrome is when you get really cold and your hands go, well, in my case, your extremities go white. And I used to lose all feeling in the tops of my fingers, and it was quite painful, especially if it was really cold. And so I went to the doctor and they confirmed that I had Raynaud syndrome, and I asked what could be done about it, and they said nothing. It's just something you have to put up with. And I thought, surely not. Surely that can't be true. And it was probably the first time that I really wondered about what I was being told by somebody I respected, a doctor, somebody who'd been trained for many years and was all-knowing about people's bodies and the problems that they experience. So as I moved around, went to see different GPs, any doctor that I encountered, I would ask them, is there anything that can be done about Raynaud syndrome? I probably asked about 10 of them, and every single one of them said, no, it's just something you have to put up with. And I just thought, really? I can't believe that that's true. And around about 10 years ago, I started to get even more curious about my body, my health, what I was doing to my body, drinking and the food I was eating. And as you get older, it becomes more important, doesn't it, to look after yourself more. And so I started to try different things that I became aware of. And one of the first things was bioresonance. And I had an experience with a bioresonance practitioner that really surprised me, because I was told that my body was struggling processing alcohol. I was told things that I was feeling emotionally, which were true. I was told quite a few things and then given advice on, vitamins to take and things like that. So that was really the start of my journey into understanding that there are other options available to us. After that, I went to see a naturopath a few years later, and this was a guy who used a dowsing crystal, to get information about your body, and this also was extremely powerful. I took homeopathic remedies, vitamins, and had craniosacral therapy for the first time, which was amazing too. I then started to learn about heavy metals and how heavy metals get into our system through the water supply, through the food supply, through the air. So believe it or not, chemicals are being sprayed onto us, and they're called chemtrails. I might do that in another video, talk a bit more about that. But through these various ways, we have metals in our bodies that create blockages, are really harmful to our bodies and the flow of our system. And so I didn't set out with the intention of curing Raynaud syndrome. I just got more curious and then tried new things that I became aware of over the years. And I also had holistic massage, learnt about Ayurveda and the different food groups, and just then feeling into my body and what felt right. And the clearer you get, the more you can understand what works for your body and what doesn't. And so this has been a real journey for me over the last 10 years of discovering that, because people will say, oh, you should eat more meat, or you shouldn't eat meat and be a vegetarian. And it's all nonsense, because we're all different and our bodies have different needs. And the most important thing is that you get to know your own body and what it needs and what it doesn't like, what it likes and what it doesn't like. And the more that you do that, the easier it gets. And so I realise that we've been programmed to believe that a doctor is all-knowing and, they know best. Why do they know best about your body? And yes, there's a general understanding of how the body works, but as I've just explained to you, that they don't know everything. And there is so much out there that can help us to heal. Our bodies can naturally heal, but in this toxic environment, it's very difficult for our bodies to heal. And so finding these ways of, helping your system to be its best is a really amazing journey. And the wonderful thing is that about 2 years ago, I was walking in the freezing cold without gloves on, and I realised that I no longer had Raynaud's syndrome. And so through this process of getting to know my body better and the flow of it, I realised that it was cleaning up, it was flowing, and the circulation was so massively improved that I no longer had any pain in my fingers when it got cold. And these days I can go for a walk, it's -2, no gloves, and my hands are perfectly fine. So it really has been an amazing journey, and this video is to encourage you to, or invite you to, look into other things. Don't just believe what a doctor tells you. They might have some great advice, but there might be other things that you can look into. And I know just from looking into this stuff, how we have been conditioned to believe that natural remedies are not great. I looked at the Cancer Research website because I was very curious after I learned about the 1939 Cancer Act, which means that people can't say that they can cure cancer. In fact, they can't even help people with natural remedies. I actually know some people who've been imprisoned for doing exactly that without advertising or making huge claims that they can cure cancer, but providing natural remedies for people and having an amazing amount of success. They're then put in prison for doing that. So what does that tell you? On the Cancer Research website, they talk about quack theories. So there's subliminal and small messages around the fact that, you're a bit weird if you're into natural healing. Well, we are nature. That is who we are. We're not saving nature or separate from nature. We are nature. And in that, nature provides us with herbs and remedies to help us, to help our bodies. But for some reason, and I'm pretty sure I know what it is, we're programmed to think, or conditioned to think, that that's a load of nonsense. Homeopathy is a load of nonsense. Well, it's not. But it's also the mindset. If you go into this with an open mind, then it's more likely to work. It's more likely to help you. Everything is connected. The mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual parts of us that make us who we are. The more and more connected you are in all of those areas, you will find solutions to help you live the most amazing life. But being open and curious is the only way. So, this is an invitation to do exactly that. Don't believe what you're told. Get curious.